Can you hear me now? Is this working? Can you hear me? Let me check on my computer as well. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello. Can you hear me now? Okay, that should work. Hi! Hi! Thanks for coming! Okay, let me start again. Hi guys, Han here. Oh my goodness. You know what, this streaming thing, I tell you, it's a lesson. I'm still learning. Give me time. Yes, what I was just saying that you guys couldn't hear because I was streaming through the wrong camera. Last time there was a big mishap. I didn't click the right button. The stream never went live. Blah, 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 blah. I apologize. I'm really sorry for those of you who'd actually shown up because I know some of you were waiting and I was wondering like, why are there no messages? What's happening? But yeah, we live, we learn, we move on. And I know that I technically didn't do a November stream, which we will get into the reason for that shortly. And you'll see it's a good reason. It's not just me and my ADHD. There's actually genuinely a good reason. But hi, it's nice to see you guys. Thank you so much for coming to join me today. And my oh my, what a year has it been? What a month has it been? This is going to be the last stream for 2023, obviously. Because it's literally like ending next week, which I mean, that's insane. How is this year so fast? But so much has happened in this last month, talk less the last year. So today we're going to be talking about some of the fun stuff that's happened, some of the sad stuff that's happened, and things we're looking forward to happening next year. I think the obvious place to start is the saddest moment of them all. There we go. BTS have officially left armies to their own devices, which, you know what, might not be as bad as it is. No, but in all seriousness, of course it was really sad that the members have officially all joined the army. We knew it was going to happen. None of us were looking forward to it happening. I actually surprised myself because, if I'm honest, I've been a K-pop fan for like around 15 years and I've seen plenty of groups that I like go to the military. I saw my favourite group literally break up and then go to the military, so you know, we've been through some shit. But I really thought that I would be okay. And I was wrong. I was so wrong. I kind of knew I was wrong from when Jin went, because honestly, I remember when he did his last was it V-Live or We-Live at that time? Last We-Live. And I was laughing throughout the whole thing. I was really happy that he like spoke honestly about how he felt about all the drama surrounding the enlistment and all that kind of stuff. And then as soon as the camera cut off, I just like burst into tears. And I was like, oh, this is gonna be rough, isn't it? And of course, same thing again. When Hobie went, we kind of all knew it was coming, and it was sad to like, every member has done like their leaving live, right? And it's always just like this underlying feeling of I'm trying really hard to enjoy the fact they're here now and be supportive and all this stuff, but like I'm also dying inside because why are you taking away my babies? But yeah, like Hobie went, Yoongi went. Yoongi, I have beef with that man specifically because I get it. For me, okay, I'm in two minds because I understand that from Yoongi's perspective, he is doing what, this is not my opinion, this is just the general perception, is considered the lesser service. Even though technically he's doing more time, he still has a lot of freedoms that the other members won't have. He gets to go home to his own home every day. He only works Monday to Friday. He has like strict working hours. Like, he's basically an office worker, which, I mean, it's still something new and something challenging for someone who's not lived that lifestyle, right? Like, as an office worker, I could tell you, but no, but like, technically he's not doing like the hard intensive labor that the other members are doing. So I kind of understand his perspective of not wanting to be super online or post too much or like highlight the privileges that he has over the other members if you compare their service. But at the same time, like, my G, one selfie isn't gonna hurt nobody. Actually, it would save some lives. Personally, I think that would be serving your country too. But yeah, like, it's sad that they can't that Yoongi feels like he can't post as much, or maybe that's just his personality. We know he's a kind of private person anyway, but like, the fact that this update picture was like our first proof of life in like 6 months, I'm like, geez, what? Like, how do you expect me to survive like the rest of this time? Anyway, I digress. Moving on to the guys who've just gone. Tae, Namjoon, Jimin, Jungkook. I have to rewind a little bit. If we go back to Golden on Stage, I was actually fortunate enough to be able to go to that, which was over here. Ha, that's me. Yeah, it was amazing. I don't actually know, like, genuinely, of all the promotions that all the members did for their solo activities, I applied for everything, like everything, and the only things I got into were the Picnic and Golden on Stage. So it was like right at the end, which I was kind of happy because Layover was my favourite solo album, so I'm happy that I got to see the promotion for that. And obviously Golden on Stage was the last promotion before they all went. So it was a wonderful night, but when he sang Magic Shop, everybody was kind of like, you know, oh, okay, the kids, they're going now. It's time to say goodbye. Like, this is really it. And obviously, Magic Shop is a fan song. It's a song that's very precious to ARMY and BTS. And it's technically the first song that Jungkook ever wrote. So I feel like there's also a significance there that he did that and he did My You as well. No, sorry, he did Still With You. But like, yeah, everybody kind of left just like, tomorrow's gonna be the day, isn't it? And ironically, usually you know how it's been, like every single time it's like something really good, something really bad, and something really good again. But they actually gave us like the day in between the Golden on Stage and the final announcement. So there was like this false security of, oh, maybe it's not gonna happen yet. But I mean, obviously we knew they'd all said they would go by the end of the year. The year was ending, like it was basically December already. And yeah, the announcement came out. If I'm honest, I haven't watched all of the last lives because we'll get into my schedule later in the stream, but I did manage to catch the end of the last live with the 4 members together. I watched like the last 10 minutes of that because I was leaving work as it was playing, and again, I really thought like, okay, we've done it 3 times now, it's getting a little bit easier. The closer, like, the sooner they go, the sooner they come back, right? So I'm thinking, okay, if the last members go, that means we're now on the countdown to Jin coming back. Like, the mentality changes. Like, somebody was saying, not somebody, many people have said on Twitter, like, from now on, hello, this is big hit music. It's always going to be a positive thing. It's going to be like something's being released or someone's coming back. So I tried to really go into it with that mindset. But when the picture of the guys dropped, I was just like, again, I'm just struggling, okay? I'm just struggling. And I think I'm not the only one, so that's fine. But yeah, it was just sad to see them go, you know, those are my babies. Anyway, sorry. But yeah, like, it's weird as well. Like, I know people have been doing like 1 week without BTS, 2 weeks without BTS, and then of course there's a countdown to Jin coming back. But if I'm honest, I've just been kind of like, I'm kind of happy that I've been super busy with life because I haven't had a lot of time to sit in my feelings and be sad. But like, I come back and you guys can't see it, but of course my house is like covered in BTS stuff. So I see them every day and I feel like in a way that's comforting because it's like nothing has changed. I'm still listening to their music frequently. My Spotify shuffle, like, Spotify Wrapped came out. BTS was still my #1, you best believe. They've been my #1. I think they've only done the Wrapped for like 5 years, or I've only used Spotify for like 5 years. But BTS have literally been the top of my Spotify Wrapped for the last 5 years. And I was really scared this year. I was like, damn, is it going to be like one of the solo activities? But no, even without like consciously trying, BTS is still my #1 artist. It was BTS, TXT, I want to say RM, August DV, if I remember correctly. I can't remember. But follow me on Instagram if you want to see that kind of stuff though. But yeah, I was very happy to see that it was still my faves up at the top. Epik High didn't make the cut this year, sorry guys. But yeah, I was very happy with myself. I think my most streamed song this year was Love Me Again. Yeah, and I think Take Two was in my top 5. So yeah, not really much has changed. I'm still listening to their music frequently. I still get the same feels I get all the time. Like, I know lots of people feel like fans are reliant on content, especially for a fan like ARMY. Like, let's be real, we're really spoiled. We get so much content. Or we did anyway. And to to be honest, we still are, even after the guys have gone. JK's released stuff. We just had Closer Than This, which, again, just hits. I'm so happy I watched it on the subway, because I don't have the emotional capacity for crying right now. I just need to get along with my life, like so much is happening. So I watched it on the subway. I teared up, but I was like, I'm not gonna cry in public, so suck it up, bitch. But yeah, it's sad. I've been missing the boys dearly, but as I said, like, time has passed. Like, it's already been 2 weeks since they went. This year is almost ending, which means it will already be a month, and just means we're like that much closer to Jin coming back. I'm fortunate enough to have a lot of stuff going on in my personal life that's also going to keep me really busy, so I feel like this time is going to pass very quickly. And of course, that leads me to the second thing that we're going to talk about today, which is my other babies, TXT. Yeah, while this has been a very sad month for BTS, ironically, it's been a really good month for TXT. They had the finale of the Act Suite Mirage tour in Seoul at the first week of December, and I must say, actually, it was one of the best concert weekends I have ever had. I'm really grateful for the experiences I had and the people I spent it with. So, some backstory. First things first, I'm a solo concert goer. I've only ever, before this weekend, gone with someone, and even when I say gone with someone, I meant like actually booked our tickets together and sat together and all this kind of stuff. Oh, I just hope they can rest from the spotlight a bit. Yes, exactly, like, oh my goodness, let's rewind to BTS for a moment. I completely agree with you. I was so happy that the members have just kind of got to this point where they're just like, we don't even give a fuck, we're just gonna say how we feel, and actually like beg the fans, like, please do not show up, do not come. And it was so, I know there was some rumours on Twitter that some people did go, but as far as I could see in the Korean media, like in the news media, nobody came, which was, honestly, I was surprised, because I was like, we've got to throw some hands out here. But no, nobody came, which of course we're super grateful for. I'm sure the guys are super grateful for. Like, they've given so much to us in the last 10 years. If they, like, I mean, okay, I'm going to do a video on this one day eventually, like airports and things like that. And I know there's lots of debate in like, where's it okay to go? What is it okay to go if you act like in a certain way and this kind of that. But like, for them to actively give a stance and say, please do not come, please do not do this, or whatever it might be, and for people to actually respect that, I felt like I'm so grateful. And I know ARMY's by no means perfect. We have many flaws, but within Korea, at least, amongst K-pop fans, ARMY have that reputation of like setting the example. Kind of like how we did things like the Purple Ribbon project and things like that before. Like, so many other fans of different groups look to us, as much as they might not like us always, but they do look to us and say, like, you know what, ARMY's conduct, the way they handle each other is pretty good. And I'm like, as an ARMY, that's something I'm proud to hear as well. As a K-pop fan of many years, that's something I can definitely say, like, I've never seen an fandom with a dynamic as interesting and interweaved and well connected and organized as ARMY's is. So I'm really grateful for that as well, and I'm sure the guys are grateful, because ultimately there's a popular saying that the fans are a reflection of their artists, and I feel like that's true. And I think Namjoon also said it, like, you guys are our face. And even from back in the day, there's been a saying amongst ARMYs, like, the way ARMYs are the is ARMY's actions become BTS's actions, is essentially the translation. And I think that's so true. Like, us cleaning up after events, like, even when they did the massive like Yoido Park 10-year anniversary BTS Festa thing, like, the government everybody was surprised. Like, the park was clean the next day, the staff had nothing to do. Like, that's the kind of reputation that they want from us. And I think with these personal things as well, it makes such a difference, because the thing is, like, the military, as much as we like to see it as, oh, it's just them being gone for a minute, it's the military. Like, it is actually a hard experience, and I'm talking more than just things like dramas like DP and things like that. Like, my job now, I teach English to, what do you call these guys, like businessmen and stuff like that. And of course, when these things are happening, I get to ask their opinions, like, what was your experience like, and things like that. And like, so many of them tell me about, like, oh yeah, like, me and my parents are sobbing the day that I started my military service. We started in winter, it was really cold, or I started in the summer and it was really hot. And like, they give me their real like experiences. And then I also saw, I can't obviously check the validity of this, but I also saw the story of a guy online who is very against BTS going to the military because he got a serious injury during his military service. And it's like, yeah, they are playing with real guns and live ammunition. Of course, like, they have like the training purpose stuff, but ultimately they're being trained for real war because Korea is very much still in a real war. So I mean, as much as it's like on a surface level, it's like, oh, they're just gone for a while, they can't be active. They are actually quite literally in danger every day, and that's a big reality that they are facing that we can't necessarily feel. And I think just giving them the space and their families the space to process that. I mean, we already take them away from their families so much as is, like, just being artists. So yeah, I completely agree with you. Like, they need their time away from the spotlight, just deal with their lives. And that's why I'm like, I don't fault Yoongi for not posting as well. Like, I'm sure he's dealing with his own struggle, because like adjusting to a 9-to-5 is not easy either. But yeah, anyway, back to TXT. So I mentioned that I've always been a solo concert goer. I had a bad experience very early on in my concert going history where I went to a concert with somebody and that other person just completely ruined my experience. You'll be unsurprised to find we're not friends anymore. That was not the reason why, but we're just not friends anymore. But like from that moment I was like, concerts, for me, concerts are like my favorite thing. Like, they are the activity that I enjoy the most, that I get excited for. I mean, I know you can go to a concert pretty often if you want to, but for me, that ability to loosen up, like to be able to scream and shout and jump and dance and all that kind of stuff, and not really care about looking stupid or like being overly loud. I live in an apartment. I live like Korea, everybody lives in an apartment. I remember like 2 years ago I was trying to work out at home and I was scared to literally like do a jumping jack in my apartment because I don't want to get like a noise complaint. So you can imagine, like, I don't want to pay to go to Noraebang every week or stuff, and there's not even that many near where I live anyway. So concerts are like that release for me. And yeah, it was just like, concerts are a really exciting thing. So, and I'm one of those people as well, like, I don't like shitting on other people's parades. I don't want nobody to shit on my parade. And I'm just like, let people enjoy what they want in their life. Like, don't bother each other. But I'm also very cautious about who I do the things that I like with. I don't talk to just any of my friends about BTS stuff. I don't like to be around people who are dismissive of the things that make other people happy. So when it comes to concerts, I usually just like to go at my own pace and do my own thing. That being said, this time around, I had met a bunch of really sweet moas at the mini none of us can say this fucking word. The mini fan meeting that TXT had at their last comeback. And we kept in touch. Like, this is also a first for me. I'm not a big group chat person. Believe it or not, I'm actually a super introvert in real life. I really much enjoy being by myself. I'm not a sociable person. Which, despite my job, might make you think I don't like talking to people that much. Yeah, we kind of built this relationship. We'd all experienced one event together, and now there's this other event we're all really looking forward to. And although we did actually book our seats separately in this, that and the other, we were all kind of like in similar areas, or we were all in VIP, we were all in soundcheck, so we could still share that experience in real time in our group chat as we're going. And I've now dubbed this, for me, like, we all have our own nickname for our group, but my nickname for them is Moa Fairies because they are magical. But yeah, like, this time around, we kind of like interacted with each other throughout the day, but we didn't like stress too much, like, we have to do everything together, we need to follow each other's schedule. So everybody kind of had their freedom, which for me was quite comfortable. The day before this concert, so it was a Saturday, Sunday, the day before the concert, on the Friday, I managed to find a first row ticket. So this is the seat, this is the view from my seat. As you can see, the stage is essentially like this. You've got the main stage, the center catwalk, center stage, and then two side like catwalks, and then another further out like thrust stage, I guess you can say, and then two more catwalks. So I was from the center stage and the two catwalks, I was on the left hand side. I think that's your right, but it was my left anyway. So I had like this perfect view of the stage. I was in the first row right in front of that. And I tell you guys, if you ever are going for stage side seats, I've had this for BTS, I've had this for TXT, and I've had this for Epik High, which we'll talk about shortly. Always go for the catwalk because they always go back and forth. I will admit that in this concert, TXT did not use the extended stages as much as the center stage and the main stage, but you still have a pretty good view if you're in the first row anyway, so that's not something I would worry about. Oh, excuse me, I've got a bit of a cold. That being said, so yeah, first day, absolutely amazing. We went in for sound check, and when I tell you, I was living my best life. You also have to bear in mind, this being a concert in Asia, of course people do come from overseas, but the majority of people there are Asian. So in my row, I was literally the only non-Asian person, so I stuck out like a sore thumb. And let me tell you, I've never been so happy to be black. No, that's not true, I love being black, but like genuinely. It was amazing because the guys like instantly as they came walking down, they're just like, oh. I was like, hi. This was like 2 or 3 days, like 3 days before Soobin's birthday. So I had a little sign like Winter Prince Soobin, and I also had like Vocal King Taehyung because those are my biases. So I was like, if you guys come, you gonna see me. So I was really lucky because during that day for the sound check, all of the members looked like like without a doubt directly at me. I didn't get all of it on camera, but each of them have their style. So in my experience, Soobin is the hardest to get the attention of. Like, he's just like, yeah, but like, he's usually really hyper, so he's usually running up and down. And I say that based on this concert and the previous 2 concerts where I've had sound check. Like, he's always just like zooming across the stages, so it's very hard to like have a moment with him, but I was fortunate enough because I stood out like a sore thumb. Kai looks at anybody who calls out his name. In this sound check, Kai and Soobin were walking together, and just being very like honest, Soobin is slightly more popular in Asia than Kai is, so a lot of people were calling out to Soobin. So I literally just like full chest, Kai, and he looked like dead at me and was like, and I was like, I got you. I got you, baby, don't worry. Yeah, so that was great. Like, I had 2 or 3 moments where he looked at me and was like, I see you, I hear you, and I'm like, I see you too, boo. It's the anyway. Yeonjun, serial flirt. Literally, he will make eye contact with every single person. Like, he will take his time looking at every single person. And then and he seemed a bit surprised. Like, I just noticed his picture. He also seemed a little bit surprised to me. He was like, oh. I was like, don't worry. And then Taehyun, in my personal experience, is the hardest. He's just not interested. Like, he'll gesture towards the crowd, but he doesn't look like he's giving like attention to any individual person. If you get a glance, it's like very like fleeting, like very passing. So it's very hard to have like anything significant happen with him. But I feel like in my personal opinion, I'm just kind of lucky with Soobin, because this is the second time we've had like full on. No, it's not second. Oh, wait, words. My brain is not working. We've made eye contact a number of times, but it's the second time I've had like an actual like bona fide, I can prove this really happened interaction. Which gets me on to one of the 2 reasons why this was the best concert weekend. So during this concert, obviously the guys are right in front of me. I'm trying to get like a full view of everything, but I'm also trying to take pictures and record. And at the start of the concert, they had like been very honest and been like, guys, whenever we're in Asia, you guys don't fucking do anything except record. Like, please put down your phones, actually dance with us, like, don't be nervous about the person next to you, stand up and, like, enjoy the show. And before I even get into the Soobin moments, I do have to, like, actually complain a little bit. You'll notice they don't really do this at most of their other shows outside of Korea and Japan. And it is actually true that, in my personal opinion, MOAs are some of the most boring concert viewers. And like, I say that as a MOA. Like, it's so sad, but having the contrast of being to, I've been to, I think, I don't even know how many artists I've been to. Maybe like 6 or 7 other K-pop artists. I've been to 3 award shows, and I've been to Dream Concert. So I've had the opportunity to experience a bunch of different fandoms, their energies, and all this kind of stuff, right? And then I also have my personal like fan experiences. And I feel like the reason MOAs have the worst, dude, literally, so I hate phones in the shows. I mean, I completely understand everybody wants to capture their moments, and like, I'm in 2 minds about that as well, but MOAs are the worst offenders. And I say this because I feel like TXT debuted in 2019 before COVID, right? and they did their US showcase. So they toured the US, saw a bunch of fans, had a really good time, and then when they came back to have their first fan live, which would have been their first official concert in Korea, it was cancelled because of COVID. So for Korean fans, especially those who are like TXT is the first group they're starting, they're a bit younger, middle school, high school, and they've never had that opportunity to go to a concert before, they kind of missed that authentic concert experience because like they've never had one, essentially. Like they've never been to one, and they're so used to watching things online, and I think to some extent they're so used to seeing other people's, like we live in the digital age where everybody shares things on social media, right? Like TikTok and things like that. People are trying to have their viral moment more than living that moment, which is so sad to say. But like I feel like people are so much more focused on being able to say, I went there, I saw this, I've recorded, I've got the footage, than actually living that moment. So I feel like within Korea at least, MOAs don't like, excuse me, I just spat, excuse me, too excited. They don't enjoy, essentially, like they don't stand up. Like the boys were literally like, guys, we don't care if you're blocking the view of the person behind you, you don't care if you're shy, like stand your ass up. Nobody wanted to stand up. Whereas I went to obviously Epik High this month as well, stood up literally the second the show started. Same for BTS. I've never been to a BTS concert and sat down the whole time, like at all, if anything. Even during the slow songs, everybody stands up, everybody waves, you know, like there's just that energy. But MOAs will not stand up throughout the whole show if the members do not say stand up, like at the start of a song. It would literally be like 2/3 of the way in, not 2/3, sorry, like 1/3 of the way in. And then this actually happened. So they started after the second VCR, so they have the opening VCR, beginning, second VCR, some songs, and then the third VCR. So after the third VCR, one of the first songs they do is Angel or Devil or Cattle Dog. It's one of those two anyway. And it's one of my friends, like of my Moa Fairies group, is one of their favourite songs. They were like, guys, mind you, we're chatting through all the VCRs because we've watched all of them because we went to the original concert anyway. So we're like, nobody in my section is standing up. What's going on? I don't know what to do. And we're like, okay, solidarity, we're all gonna stand up together. And like we're hyping each other because we're trying to be like, the thing is, if one person does stand up, usually a couple of people will follow and then everybody stands up. But nobody wants to be that first person because everybody's like, oh, I don't want to block other people, that kind of thing, right? So my friend was like, I don't care, I'm standing the fuck up. So she stood up and then somebody said, sit down. Like somebody yelled at her to sit down. She sat down and literally as the next song starts, Yeonjun is like, stand up. And I was like, this is what I mean, like it's so annoying. Like again, I said I'm in two minds about the whole recording thing and all this kind of stuff, but like, again, what I was saying before about why I don't go to concerts with other people, I don't want to ruin anybody else's fun, I don't want to be a nuisance to other people, but like, I also have paid money to be here, I've been waiting for this, I've been excited for this, and I want to be able to enjoy it fully, and I have that same issue as well, because I was in the first row in my section. I didn't want to stand up, because I'm tall, I'm a foreigner as well, I stick out like a sore thumb, so they're gonna be like, oh, these foreigners don't know the like Korean concert etiquette and blah blah blah, and like, I don't want to get in someone's way. Like I don't want someone to have a bad time or be annoyed because of me. And at the same time, I'm sitting in my seat like, oh, like let me dance. Yeah, so it was really hard, and I will say the Saturday crowd was definitely better than the Sunday crowd. Sunday absolutely sucked, I'm not even gonna lie. The crowd on Sunday was not it. Ironically, it's the people on the second and the third floor who are having the time of their lives, because I feel like for those people, like they don't have that issue of like trying to record. Second day, there was a guy sat in front of me. He literally was on his phone for the entire show. And then only when they were like on the stage directly next to us, he would stand up and record. If everybody around him was standing up, mind you. And I'm just like, again, I don't want to judge, like I'm also mindful of like people have their reasons for not standing up as well. Some people don't have the stamina. I mean, as I get older, I might also not have the stamina. Anyway, this is all besides the point. MOAs, please, like, improve your content etiquette. Learn some fucking fan chants as well, my goodness. It was so painful, like, some of the songs, it's like, everybody knew the fan chant. And some of the songs, it's like, me and the girls who sat behind me on the second day, I all the respect, because even the ones that I messed up on, you had everything down pat. I vibe, because, like, that's another thing as well, like, when you around other people having fun, you have more fun. Even though I didn't know all the fan chants perfectly, they were, like, killing it, and I was like, yeah, get it, let's go. Like, just that infectious energy is so fun. Anywho, back to Soobin, more importantly. So, first day, I'm in this front row seat. The whole concert's been and gone. For me, I'm the kind of person who will record like half of a song and then jam to the second half, or vice versa. But it was the encore, and I was like, this is the last time the members are going to come close to me. I'm not sitting stage side tomorrow. And who knows when the next concert is, right? Who knows if I'll get a down seat that's good. And mind you, this is my second first row seat in, when did I see BTS for the first time? 2018, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 6 years. Yeah, that's math, right? Long time. Anyway, so I haven't been stage side in a hot minute. So I was like, this time, I'm here now. I want to take the boys in, like, as they are. So if they come down this way, I'm going to put my phone down. I'm still going to be recording, but I'm going to put my phone down just so I can see them, they can see me, we can have our moment. Also, remember what I said earlier about being a foreigner and standing out? Me and my friends had been joking, because all these guys are foreigners as well. We'd been joking about, like, we all speak some level of Korean, and if we're like singing along like noticeably to a Korean song, the members are gonna notice because they're singing in Korean. They're like, oh, this bitch knows the words. So Hyuka and Soobin are slowly approaching my area, and it's Our Summer, final song of the first encore. There's actually 2 encores, but it was the first encore. And I lock eyes with Soobin, and I'm thinking, oh, he's not looking at me. He's just looking in my general direction. Remember what I said? Soobin is kind of hard to like have long extended eye contact with. So it's like, he's just looking in my general direction. But like, we're singing like 2 or 3 lines and he's still looking at me. I'm like, obviously I don't have video of my face, but I could tell that he could tell that I was having that realization moment of like, oh, you're actually looking at me. Because his face also changed. And then at the end of his part, I was just like, don't, I don't even know what to say, like, don't freak out, just keep going, like, keep singing. And he put his mic down, and he looks at me, he's still looking at me, sorry, and he goes, 고마워. Like, he mouths the words 고마워, which is, for those who don't speak Korean, it's thank you in Korean. And I'm like, I'm still singing, I'm just like, huh? And I'm like, oh my god. I can't play the audio, annoyingly, because YouTube will block the whole fucking video. It's so annoying. But I did upload this on Twitter, and I will probably upload it as a short after this. But you can literally hear me at the end of the video go like, oh my god. And at the end of the song, the girl next to me was like, did you get it on camera? Like, he said thank you to you. And I was like, wait, so I didn't hallucinate? Like, what do you mean? But yeah, the irony is, even though I wasn't looking at my camera, I did actually manage to get just that second on camera. So I'm going to show you guys with no sound. Okay. So you'll see that Hyuka is on the side, and I'm kind of holding my phone here, so it's kind of like pointing at Hyuka, and I'm just kind of like going like this. At this point, me and Soobin are looking at each other, and then he says, 고마워. One more time in case you missed it. So, ooh, how do I get this to restart? One moment. I don't know how to do this. There we go. Okay. If I take this back. There we go. Okay. Technology. Anyway, so yeah. At this point, me and Soobin are looking at each other. We're locking eyes and we're singing. And then he puts his mic down and he says, 고마워. So, yeah. I mean, in that moment, I was kind of just like, huh? Like, did that just happen? And then when the girl next to me started talking to me, that's kind of like when it set in. And I was like, it was so funny because she probably was really annoyed because she was like, did you get it on camera? And I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, oh, when he said thank you to you. And I was like, oh, he said thank you. Because actually in that moment, I didn't really realize what he had said. I just knew he'd said something to me. And I was just like, huh? And I was like, oh, he said thank you. And I said it like that, like so nonchalantly. But it was because I was in shock. People with ADHD generally don't panic, so I was just like, oh, that's what happened. And she was just like, and it was only like a few moments later where I like finally like realized and was like in my throat was crying. But I also didn't want to cry like too much because firstly the show wasn't over. There was actually a secret like second encore, and also like it wasn't an emotional moment for the concert because there was the next day. So it was like I was crying by myself and nobody around me was emotional, so they'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? But I was like, what is happening? Which is where the second great part of this weekend comes in, which is the girlies that I went with. After the show, we're all talking about our experiences, and I'm still kind of like, just like a zombie, like, what is life? Is this reality? And I tell them, and we're literally all crying together. Like, to have people be happy for you, like genuinely happy for you, is something that I feel like all of us as people take for granted, because jealousy is a disease. Like, and that's not to say that I've never been jealous of anything of my friends either, but like, it's so hard sometimes when you have something really good happen to you to feel comfortable sharing it with people, because you don't know how they're going to react. You don't know if they're going to be happy for you. You don't know if they're going to like try and gaslight you and be like, oh no, that didn't happen. You don't know. And I was fortunate enough to get my moment on camera, but mind you, at this point I didn't even realise that I had it on camera, so it wasn't until I went home later and rechecked all my fan cams. But like, these girls just like had such great energy. They were just like, oh my god, that's amazing. You know, like, we always joke about NDAs. And we were all sharing our experiences, and it was just fantastic. The next day as well, after the show, mind you, there's work on Monday, but I was just like, you know what, it's one weekend, it's one day, let's just stay and hang out. So we went for dinner, we talked about all our different experiences, and it was amazing because one of the girls was actually leaving Korea. She'd been in Korea pretty much as long as I had been, like around 4 years, and she'd had a really hard time, if I'm honest. And she like literally broke down like, you know what, this is the best weekend. Oh, I feel emotional just talking about it. She's like, this is the best weekend I've had in Korea, and I'm so grateful that I met you guys when I did. I'm sad we didn't meet earlier. And likewise, another person in the group was like, you know what, this whole year has been absolute shite for me, and this is like the first time in a hot minute where I've actually been able to feel like real true joy and happiness. And like, it was just, emotions were high in this group. But yeah, like, even for me as well, like I said, I've always been a stickler for things that I like, I don't share with people. I just do things that I enjoy by myself, and I'm satisfied by myself, because I don't want anybody to rain on my parade. But I was kind of reminded of how beautiful it is to meet people who are on the same page as you and who really connect with you and share that same passion and same love for something. And yeah, like, I won't say the concert itself was my best concert ever because of things like the crowd and stuff. Like, no fault to the boys, mind you, but like, that concert weekend as a whole, the atmosphere, the group of people that I was with, the new experiences that I had was really beautiful. And like, we hung out together, we took like the 4 strip photos together, we recorded the happily ever after challenge together. I think it's fair to say we failed, but that's on my channel if you haven't seen it. We recorded like 8 times, and we're like, you know what guys, I just don't think we can dance. I mean, I knew I couldn't dance before I went into this, so I was like, we're doing this for fun, not for success. But yeah, it was really fun. Even after we did that as well, there was like this massive group of Japanese Moa. There's like 15 of us all just dancing together outside the stadium, like 3 hours after the show had finished. It was just such a wonderful day, and we still have that group chat now. We still like chat whenever something new drops, and it's really nice to just feel that sense of community, because, excuse me, as I said, I've been a K-pop fan for like 15 years, and I do have a fair few online friends, but actually I've never really had any in-person K-pop fan friends. I have one family friend who's actually the person who introduced me to BTS, but she moved to the States like a year or two after she, a year after she introduced me to BTS, and we never got to do like any fan activities together or anything like that. And here in Korea, although I've met like 1 or 2 Korean armies, we're not really close for any reason other than we all like BTS, and those have also kind of like naturally fizzled out. So yeah, it was a new experience for me, even all these years into my fandom life, I guess. And it was really nice. It was beautiful. Like, honestly, I'm so grateful to those girls. And it was necessary. Like, this year has not been hard per se. It's not been hard. No, it has been hard. I don't know how to describe it. Like, it's not been hard because anything particularly bad has been happening. It's just been like physically hard. So I think I've mentioned in past live, I guess, and also my update video, that I've been working 2 jobs until now. I actually quit my second job recently because I'm preparing to change jobs completely again. Excuse me. Oh, that was disgusting. I really apologize. There's a cold going around Korea right now. I do apologize. But yeah, I'm hoping to go back to marketing in the K-pop industry next year. I finished preparing my portfolio. I have a couple things to do to my CV, and then I will be looking for new jobs and going to interviews. So I needed a bit of time to do that stuff. So I quit my second job. And part of the reason I also did the second job is so that I could have savings, because I want to move next year, which is happening, but we'll get to that. But like, this year has just been really busy. Yeah, I think that's the thing. It's been really busy to the point where I've had no flexibility in my schedule. I've had no personal time, because any personal time I did have was spent on my group orders, and it's just been mentally taxing in the fact of like not really being able to enjoy things for myself. Like, even if I'm completely honest, like, so much of the chapter 2 content I'm so behind. I really felt so overwhelmed by the amount of content we got this year, because I just didn't have the time to digest all of it, which is why I haven't finished watching like the final live streams and stuff like that. I realised, this is embarrassing to say, I haven't even watched the Jack in the Box documentary yet. Like, I brought the documentary, I was so ready for release day, and then I never watched it. I haven't watched Jimin's production diary either. I haven't watched the like live show that he did with the fans. Like, I've missed so many things because I've just been so incredibly busy. But not yet, but early next year I will have more time, and I'll have time to catch up with everything. But this month has been busy because of enjoyment. Well, 50% because of enjoyment, 50% because of life things. The other thing I did this month is that I went to see my OG group, Epik High. I know a lot of you guys know Epik High because of BTS, but I have actually been an Epik High fan since 2008. They were one of the first K-pop, or Korean artists, should I say, that I ever listened to. They weren't my alts at the time, but I really had a strong connection to Tablo's music, especially his solo music, because he wrote a lot about his depression and things like that, and at the time I was severely depressed. Hashtag trigger warning, sorry. But like, but yeah, I've listened to them for a really long time. I like Tablo as a soloist, I like Epik High as a group, I like the relationship they have with BTS. Like, they inspired me in a lot of ways as well, so I can also understand how like Namjoon and Yoongi talk about how they were inspired by Epik High as well. And yeah, I've always, like, I saw them for the first time in 2019 when they came to London, and that's simply because I didn't have the opportunity to see them before that, and I've seen them at every opportunity I've had since, except for Seoul Jazz Fest, because it's impossible to get tickets. But this year, more importantly, was their 20th year anniversary, and I was determined to get a good seat. I do not know how. So for TXT, I actually brought that first seat ticket second hand. For Epik High, I managed to actually buy a first row seat in ticketing. I don't know how that happened. Like, genuinely, I have no idea how that's possible. But I'm forever grateful because it was an amazing experience. Their shows, mind you, they're like an alternative rap group, so they're not K-pop. Their shows have a completely different energy, and they're actually the only non-K-pop, non-idol group that I've ever seen, like, performance that I've ever seen. But amazing energy throughout the whole show. The vibes are amazing. You don't sit down. Like, it was freezing, mind you. The day I went to see them last, it was minus 12 degrees Celsius, which I think is like 0 Fahrenheit. I don't know math. It was freezing outside, but you had to be wearing like short sleeves under whatever like winter wear you were wearing. Because in the venue, we were jumping, we were shouting, like, it was that quintessential, like, this is youth. This is that's so dramatic. But you know what I mean, like, just letting everything go. And honestly, there was actually a moment during the concert where they were running down the center stage and the confetti was like going as they're running, and it was like a scene out of a movie. Like, I literally stopped and was like, wow, this is, again, if you don't follow my Instagram, you're missing out. I'm telling you, it was amazing. But yeah, had such an amazing time. Getting to be in the front row, obviously I got to have like the water splashed on me. I call it getting baptized. It was amazing to be baptized by 2 of the 3 members. And they have quite literally the greatest light stick I've ever seen. Look at this. Oh my goodness, I can't get it out of the box. Wait for it. Is that, I don't know if you guys can see it. Is that not the best thing you've ever seen? It's literally a middle finger. This was also so expensive. It's the most expensive light stick I've personally ever seen. But it's amazing. Just look at it. And it was so funny as well because they wanted to do this. There was a time in their career, they've like been through many companies. there was a time in their career where they were under YG, and at that time YG offered them the opportunity to make light stick, and they requested a middle finger light stick, and YG was like, I don't think that's appropriate. So they've never had any light stick for their 20 years, but now that they're technically an independent group, they finally decided to make one, and like everybody obviously brought them for the concert, and they were just like, you know, we didn't think this through. Like, it's kind of weird. But yeah, it was amazing. They also have guests at all their concerts, so I went to 2 out of the 3 days. I went to Friday and Sunday's concert. Couldn't get a Saturday ticket, sad times. But they had Song Shi-young, which is he is a super famous, like probably one of the most famous ballad singers in Korea. They had Yoona, another super famous female ballad singer. Kim Dong-gyun, no, Ha Dong-gyun, sorry, which personally I actually don't know much of his music, but he's been friends with them since the start of their career, and he's been active for just as long, so they have like, it was really special for them. And then also Dynamic Duo, which for my OG fans will know that like that was like a first, they're not idols, but like around the time of first and second gen, they were really big hip-hop artists, and they're the ones who wrote the Smoke Challenge, so the song for the Smoke Challenge, so you probably know them even if you don't think you know them. But yeah, amazing light stick. Anyway, all of the guests are like, what the hell is going on here? I'm sad I didn't get to go to Saturday because they had Psy and they had Kim Jong-un from Nell, the guy who was on Sushi Star, and I actually love Kim Jong-un, so I've never seen him live actually. That's one of another like group that I would love to see is Nell, because I've followed them for a long time as well. But anyway, I digress. Amazing weekend, had a wonderful time. It was fantastic. So as you can see, this month has been full of enjoyment. I actually have another concert. I don't know why everybody I like decided to have the concert at the same freaking time, man. Junsu from TXT, second gen group, that was my first K-pop group. The group has now since, it's a long story, but like I follow him as an individual because he has personally my favorite voice. Imagine Jimin's voice but with Jungkook's technique. That is Junsu. Like that's there's no other way to describe it. Amazing vocalist. He mainly makes ballad music, but he does have like a few like idly kind of pop songs, and he's also a musical actor, so I've been to see his musicals, and he's currently doing the 10th anniversary of the Dracula musical, which, mind you, I love that musical as a story as well. It's quite interesting. And he's having his 20th anniversary concert, because he's also 20th anniversary this year, at the end of the year. So as of yet, I don't have a ticket. I'm not part of the official fan club, so he uses the idol system where the fans get first come, first serve sort of thing. But I, you know what, this is so petty. I didn't sign up for his fan club because I don't like the fandom. Their fandom name is Coconut, and I'm like, mind you, the OG fandom name was Cassiopeia, which is a constellation, a beautiful 5-star constellation. They can't use that because technically it's under SM and it belongs to TXT, which is still an active duo. But like, how did we go from Cassiopeia to Coconut? I'm sorry, that's such a shitty name. I don't think it's cute at all. It's not, it's just so random. And like the light stick doesn't even, anyway, I digress. Long story short is that, because I'm not part of the fan club, I couldn't get the ticket for the good seats. So I'm waiting for something affordable to be available on sale. And I can only actually go to the last day, which is New Year's Eve, because his birthday, legally his birthday is the 1st, but his actual birthday is like mid-December. But he always does a 3-day concert at the end of the year and does like a countdown with his fans for the new year. And I've always really wanted to go because he performs his ballad songs, his personal songs, and his musical songs. So yeah, I've always wanted to go to that, but we'll have to see if I'm able to find a secondhand ticket, but I'm trying to. So as you can see, like of the 5 weekends of this month, 3 of them have been concerts. And not just that, I mentioned slightly earlier, I am planning to move soon. So my lease ends on the 4th of February, which is painfully soon. And excuse me. Yeah, I've been needing to find an apartment. So Korea is unique. And moving here is very stressful because you actually have to tell your landlord around 2 to 3 months before you move out that you want to move out, which meant I had to tell my landlord at the start of December that I wanted to move out in February. The problem is, when you go house hunting, if you like the apartment, they expect you to sign the contract that day to lock it in, otherwise they're going to continue to show up to other people, etc, etc. So I had this apartment that I'd been looking at on this real estate website for the last 6 months. Like, I've had that as my savings goal. I've like daydreamed about how I would decorate it and all this kind of stuff. And I went to do the viewing and it sucked. It didn't suck. It was smaller than it looked in the pictures. The price was actually going to be higher than what was advertised for legal things that I just won't get into because it's honestly very tedious and just tiring. But it was going to be more expensive than I was hoping to spend. And I'm talking in terms of the rent. It's specifically, it was going to cost a lot more than I would be able to afford. And yeah, the space was not what I wanted it to be anyway, so it was like a massive disappointment. And it also kind of left me in this place where I'd kind of spent the last 6 months sure that this is where I would go. So now that I knew it wasn't, I had like this last minute rush to try and find something else. I did have a backup realtor who, they have an Instagram account that I follow, and they share the most beautiful apartments you've ever seen. And they're all over Seoul, so I was like, if I go there, I'm sure they'll be able to have something. The problem is that, like most of the world, Seoul is having a housing price crisis, a cost of living crisis, all this kind of other stuff. And all the apartments that met the specifications in terms of size and location that I wanted had rent that was way out of my budget. Even if I could afford the deposit, which in and of itself is insane in Korea, all the rent was just way more than I could afford. He took me to see these two really, oh my god, dream, beautiful, gorgeous apartments, but they were way too far out from where I work, way too far out. Even like the houses themselves, or the apartments, are too far from the nearest station, and then the station is also far from like my job or the rest of Seoul, so that there just weren't options, you know what I mean? So I kind of went, like, after 2 weeks of house searching, I was kind of like, oh my gosh, I've already told my landlord that I'm moving out. I can't back out of that decision now. I have nowhere to go, and like, I'm starting to get really stressed because I work 12 to 9 Monday to Friday, and then I work 10 to 6 on Saturdays as well. So I don't have any free time. Like, even the area that I'm looking at is the complete opposite side. So I live in the northeast, and I'm looking at the southwest. So even to go to the viewings in the mornings, I would have to get up super early, travel for like an hour and a half to go to do the viewing, spend 30 minutes to an hour doing viewings, and then go to work. So I was exhausted, like running around Seoul every morning all week, and then I wouldn't come home until like 10 p.m. again. But I was complaining. This is the one great thing I love about this job, is like, because I teach adults, we can talk about life sometimes. So I was complaining to one of my favorite students actually, and I was telling her about the struggle I was having with finding an apartment and everything. And it's so embarrassing as well, because I told so many of my students, like, this is the apartment I'm gonna live in. Like, I'd show them the apartment and everything. They're like, oh, okay, nice. And now that it was time, they're like, what happened? Anyway, so yeah, I was telling her what happened, and she was like, oh, you should try this. And she showed me like how to like did all the filters, and a whole bunch of new options came up. Literally the first apartment I ended up seeing is the one that I ended up taking. So I officially have a new apartment. I'm so excited. It is gorgeous. It's a tiny bit further out than I wanted, but generally it's not too bad. There's a direct line to where I work now, and that line also connects to all the other major lines in Seoul, so I can easily change when I change jobs. It won't be hard to get there. It's super close. It's literally like 1 block away from the post office, which for my group orders is very important. Like, honestly, you know, like when people look for apartments, they're like, oh, what are the schools in the area like, or where's the closest supermarket? For me, the post office. The post office is the most important thing because of my flipping group orders. So if you buy my group orders, please be grateful, because oh my gosh, you don't know how much stress that gave me. Yeah, it's perfectly in between the station and the post office actually. So the station's also like 3 blocks away. And not only that, it is huge. It is honestly almost twice the size of the apartment that I'm in right now. It's got 2 downstairs rooms and then 2 like half height upstairs rooms. So I will be able to dedicate a whole room just to my geo stuff, which means I can turn it into like a proper warehouse, put some shelves in, organize things inside that and all that kind of stuff. I'm also thinking I might actually finally be able to fulfill one of my lifelong dreams, which is getting a cat. That will be sometime next year. Like, I do want to change jobs and all that kind of stuff first and then consider that, but it's something I'm like desperately wanting to do. It's something I've always wanted to do. And yeah, like, I'm really excited to move, but now I have the stress of actually preparing to move because my move date is in 5 weeks. So and I still have my crazy work schedule, so it's not like I have all the time in the world. But I'm happy because it means that I'll be able to offer more services, better service, faster service for my group orders. Until now, they've kind of just been like random boxes in my living room, whereas now they'll have their own dedicated space, which I think will be awesome. I'm a little bit short on moving funds, if I'm honest, but I'm trying to like fundraise for that on my group order website. So if you're one of the people who's donated, thank you. I appreciate you. I love you. But yeah, like I'm very excited for everything that is to come next year. January is going to be very busy with preparing to move. February will be settling into the new place. I've already booked the time off so that I can actually like unpack and all that kind of stuff. Sometime within that, hopefully I will be doing job interviews because I want to find a new job as soon as possible into the new year as I can. So if I could start my new job at my new apartment, that would be fantastic. And yeah, like 2024 is looking to be a big year growth wise for me. You probably noticed that my channel kind of fell to the wayside over the last 2 to 3 months. That is partially because of like all the things I've talked about, like the house hunt and work and all those things. I also do have 2 videos that I've already recorded. One of them is a collab, but there's a couple of issues with the person I'm collabing with at the moment, so that's been like super delayed. I don't know when that's going to come out. And the other one is like a massive editing. I know I said I was gonna do more videos that don't require like super hard editing, but I digress. It's gonna be a great video when it's done. Actually, like genuinely, I do think it's gonna be one of my best videos when it's actually finished, but it's just gonna take a hot minute. So probably for the next month or 2, I'm gonna focus more on short content or things that are like still this vertical, horizontal style, but like not super long videos, because I do have some things I want to talk about. But yeah, and of course there'll be like moving vlogs, all that kind of stuff, tips for finding apartments in Korea for all of those of you who are curious, and house tour when I eventually move. I'm so excited, like words cannot describe. I'm so excited to move. I cannot tell you. But yeah, next year is looking to be fantastic. Lots of things are going to be improving in my life, improving in general. BTS will be coming back technically, starting from Jin. And there was something else I was going to say. Oh, I don't remember, but I also just have a lot of like personal growth that I want to do next year. I want to start working out and all those kind of things. So, oh, and also my YouTube channel is going to be like my main focus next year. This year it was really kind of saving for moving, because I've lived in this apartment building for 3 years. I've lived in this apartment for this specific unit for 2 years, and I hate it here. Well, I cannot describe how much I hate it here. So when I left my last job, I really took like, oh yeah, I have a video about that I also recorded, why I left my job in the industry. But yeah, like it's just been a lot. This year I really focused on trying to give myself stability. That was what it was. So I wanted to have financial stability, and I wanted to have like home stability. I genuinely do think that the apartment I'm about to move into could be my apartment for the next like 5 to 10 years, unless I have like a significant life change, like I get married or something. So yeah, I feel like I'm about to reach that level of what I wanted for this year, and next year my big goal is really improving my channel. I said it in my kind of like update video that I did a couple months ago, but like I do seriously want to see this channel grow. I think about YouTube so much. It's just finding the time in my schedule, in my daily life to do it, and I'm really trying to work on that discipline, manage my ADHD and all that kind of stuff. But there's just always something that's taken like priority, and I feel like next year is looking to be a good time for me to finally focus on this. So fingers crossed. Anyway, oh my goodness, I've talked for a hot minute, haven't I? We are officially coming to the end of today's stream. It's actually my mum's birthday today, Christmas Eve, so I'm gonna go and talk with my family shortly after this. But thank you so much for joining me today, especially your screen name says not Mizzing. I don't know if your name is Miz, but I'm just gonna assume it is. Thank you for joining me, Miz, and thank you for anybody else who was watching and didn't leave a comment. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this year has treated you well, and if it hasn't, I hope 2024 treats you better. If you celebrate, happy Christmas. If you don't, happy holidays. Have an amazing new year, and I will see you next time. Probably the next stream will be in the new apartment. Excitement. Anyway, this has been Han from the Haniverse. Thank you so much for stopping by. Annyeong!